Hello friends, today's period we have to study the lease finance part second. Try to understand. First part we have completed in the last period. Now in this period we have to study the mechanism of leasing. Try to understand. Mechanism of leasing. Leasing is a contract between two parties. Try to understand. How many parties are there? Two parties are there, and that is a contract between two parties. One party is called borrowing company. What is called? Borrowing company. That is also named as a leasee. What is named as what is named that borrowing company? As a leasee. Try to understand. And second party is borrower company. That is called leaser. Okay, that is called leaser. A borrowing company do not want to purchase certain equipments. Try to understand. Borrowing company do not want to purchase certain equipments which are required for limited period or required for specific period. It means that such company, borrowing company, don't want to purchase such type of equipments. Okay, this is the main thing is there. Such equipments means assets remain idle for the long period. Such equipments remain idle without using for the long period, resulting in unnecessary investment, blocking the funds of the company. It also reflects adversely on the profitability of the company. Hence, the leasing is most preferred alternative under this situation. Why leasing is preferred? This is the main reason behind it, and that's why it is preferred. Now, we have to study what is the mechanism of leasing. Which mechanism is used in leasing? Try to understand. And this mechanism of leasing may be explained by the following diagram. Diagram is also given here, and there are two parties. One party is leasing, means borrowing company, and another party is leaser, borrower company. Okay, and with the help of this chart we can understand leasing and leaser. There is a contract between these two companies. Okay, and with the help of that contract, equipments and machines are provided there. Equipments and machines are provided there, and those machines are used in this leasing finance. The leasing contracts define the terms and conditions along with consideration of leasing. Okay, the borrowing company is termed as a leasee. Already I told you, borrowing company is termed as a leasee, and user is termed as leased equipments. Okay, user is of leased equipment. The borrower company termed as lessor, and it is the owner of the equipment. Leaser company or borrower company is the owner of the equipments and provides the equipments and machines on rental basis. On which basis such type of machines are provided there? On rental basis for particular period. The other details such as repairs, maintenance, supervision, labors, custody, etc. are prescribed in the contract. All such things are also prescribed in the contract. In this way, this is the mechanism of the leasing, and that mechanism we have to understand here. With the help of these two parties and such type of a contract, such type of equipments are provided to that company, to the leasing company, and that is also very essential chart, and with the help of this chart also you can understand the mechanism of leasing. Now we have to study the what are the parties of lease finance. There are different parties of leasing finance, and what are the different parties are there? Lease finance has only two parties. How many parties are here in leasing finance? Only two parties are included here, and those are given here in this chart, and contract between these two parties is there, and these two parties we have to understand what are those. First party is borrowing company. What is it? Borrowing company. A borrowing company is first party of lease finance. Which is the first party? Borrowing company is the first party of lease finance. The borrowing company may require certain equipments for short period. Borrowing company requires certain equipments for short period or for specific job. It do not want to purchase required equipment as it will retain or it will remain idle for the long period and will block funds at the company. Hence, the borrowing company may take certain equipments and machines on contract basis for short period. Of course, a borrowing company has to pay certain amount as a leasing fee for the equipment required. It means that in consideration of leasing fee, such type of equipments are provided to that company. The borrowing company is termed as a leasee, which use the leased equipments. Try to understand. Borrowing company is identified as, is termed as, is named as a leasee, which use the leased equipments or machines for its operations. That's why this company is called borrowing company, and this is the first party in leasing finance. Then second party is also given here, that is a borrower company. A company which supplies a company which supply required equipments or machines on lease on the borrowing company is termed as borrowing company. Okay, the borrowing company has its main business of leasing. What is the main business of borrowing company? Leasing is the main business of borrowing company. It undertakes the lease. It undertakes to lease certain equipments and machines on contract for the short period. It charges certain fees. Try to understand. Such type of equipments are not provided free of cost. It charges certain fees against leased equipments. A formal leasing contract is signed between a borrower company and borrowing company. On expiry of contract period, the equipments leased are taken back in its custody. Such type of equipments which are given to the company are taken back, and those kept in custody by borrowing company. Okay, the borrower company is known as a lessor. Try to understand. Borrower company is known as a lessor. In this way, these are different two parties in leasing finance. We have to understand. Now, what is the prospectus and problems of leasing in India? Now, what is the situation of leasing in India? That situation also we have to study here. It means that what is the position of leasing, what is the situation of leasing finance, how leasing finance is working in India, all such things also we have to understand here. Lease finance is recent origin in India, try to understand, which is witnessed in the last quarter of the 20th century. The first leasing company was set up in 1973 at Madras, named the First Leasing Company of India. The second company was floated after 7 years in 1980, which was promoted by the 20th Century Finance Limited. Again, 4 companies were established in 1981. During this initial period, try to understand, during this initial period, the business of lease finance developed gradually. The growing demand of lease finance geared the development of leasing, which lead to the need more leasing companies. It means that such situation also we have to study here. The second phase of leasing, or a second phase of development of lease finance, started in 1982, when number of companies entered into the field of the lease finance. ICICI started lease finance in 1983. Don't forget it all. ICICI started lease finance in 1983. During the period of 3 years from March 85 to 1986. Okay, about 400 leasing companies came into market. During that period, how many companies came into market? 400 leasing companies came into market. There had been flood of leasing companies with more than 10 companies every month. The profit preference, try to understand, and the profit performance of the leasing companies was fantastic during this phase, and hence leasing business was new gold wine for businessmen in India. It was unprecedented, okay? It was unprecedented boom for leasing companies. As International Finance Corporation started for leasing joint ventures in India, and Finance Ministry issued strict guidelines such type of a guidelines also issued by the finance ministry, and those guidelines are strict. Okay, for what purpose? For enlisting the investment companies on stock exchange. The boom of leasing companies advanced towards its peak point, but this boom could not last for the long period. During 1986 and onward, boom period disappeared and the leasing business crashed down miserably. Okay, cutthroat competition, sales tax levy on rentals, intensity of rivalry, listing regulations, income tax levy, lack of sufficient funds. These are some of the causes of the crash. Most of the leasing companies were forced to close down business. Try to understand. It means that this was the situation. The survived leasing companies recovered themselves and consolidated their position in the year 1989. Afterward or further, the RBI guidelines on leasing business and CRISIL rating improved the position of leasing companies. The income tax levy has been abolished in 1991. Try to understand. Such type of income tax has been abolished in 1991. Today about 400 companies are leasing business. Don't forget it all. Or more than 400 companies will be there. The financial institutions, nationalized banks and foreign banks also undertake the business of leasing along with these leasing companies. These leasing companies started concentration on corporate clients from 1986-87. Consequently, with some total effects, the business of leasing covered the large extent by 1987-88. The government of India granted some incentives for leasing companies under liberalization or liberalized economic policy in 1991-92 onwards. Now, the leasing companies are performing well at a state and a national level also. It means that such type of companies are also performing in well manner in state and national level also. Try to understand. Now we have to understand what are the guidelines provided by the RBI, and those guidelines also we have to study. Without understanding such type of a guidelines, study of leasing finance will be useless. That's why what are the guidelines provided by Reserve Bank of India? Those guidelines also we have to study here. Those guidelines includes, the first guideline is given, the leasing companies are allowed to accept public deposits. It means that such leasing companies are also given permission for accepting the public deposits, but those deposits shall not be exceed 10 times of eligible net worth. It means that there is a restriction and such type of deposits shall not exceed 10 times of eligible net worth. It means that 10 times you should have to calculate, and such type of a deposits shall not exceed. Okay. Then second guideline is also provided there by the RBI, that is the minimum liquidity shall be maintained 15% of the total deposits held by the company. What is the rule? What is the guideline there? Minimum liquidity of that company shall be maintained 15% of the total deposits held by the company. Then another guideline is also given by the RBI, that is banks can undertake leasing business. It means that permission is given to the banks for leasing business also, but not more than 10% of their total assets. The restriction is also given there. What is the restriction? Not more than 10% of total assets such type of a bank can undertake the leasing business. Okay. Then another guideline is also there. Leasing activities shall be carried out only by specified branches of the bank. It means that all banks cannot start such type of a business, and such type of a business can be, such type of leasing activities shall be carried out only by specified branches of bank. Then another guideline is also given here, that is leasing companies with paid up capital. Try to understand. Leasing companies with paid up capital of rupees 10 millions or more are permitted for listing on stock exchange. It means that such companies can enlist in the stock exchange, but what is the rule is there? The paid up capital of 10 millions or more. What is the restriction? Paid up capital of that company should be rupees 10 millions or more. And such type of companies can listed, or such type of companies can list their names in the okay stock exchange. Then another guideline is also given here. Leasing companies can secure loans from banks. It means that such type of companies can secure the loans from the banks, which shall not exceed 3 times of the net worth. It means that there is a limit, there is a restriction of loan. What is the restriction? That loan amount shall not be exceeded 3 times of the net worth within the ceiling of 10 times of the net worth or onward funds. And this type of guideline is also provided by the Reserve Bank of India. With the help of these guidelines, we have to study here, and we have to complete the point here about the leasing finance. If there is any difficulty in your mind, you can contact me and ask me. Definitely I will try to complete it, I will try to solve it. Okay, thank you very much.